Hello everybody, how's it going? And welcome back to Hearts of Iron 4. Today we're going to do kind of a, it'll probably be a quicker video for Battle Royale. This is the mod Europe only. As you can see, it is only Europe on the old world continent. For some reason, Mexico, the US, and Canada are still fucking here, and so is Venezuela for some weird-ass reason, and Cuba, but it's supposed to be Europe only. Why the fuck is North America here? But we can kind of just ignore them because the U.S. is just going to kill Mexico and Canada very, very fast and then just kind of sit there as it goes to war against Cuba. So we'll just ignore them. We only have to worry about Europe. The reason I want to do this is because Asia does, and even some parts of Africa, especially with all the colonies, really interfere with how Europe plays out. So I think with just Europe, no, Soviet Union going after Mongolia and stuff first, although Tanatuva does still exist. They don't really matter. They have what, like one factory, something like that. I don't even know. One factory, maybe. Two total factories, one military, one civilian, so they don't really matter. But yeah, you get this interference from there. The Soviet Union invades Persia and Afghanistan and Mongolia right away, Manchuria. They get in conflicts with Japan and eventually China, so it gives them more of a path to go. Same with the Germans. They're not overly strong from the outset, so they could actually get overwhelmed by somebody who has a bigger army like France. Perhaps they could get into an attrition war with the Italians. You just don't know. So Europe only could go a different way, could go the same ways. I just want to kind of see which way it goes as kind of a starter video for this week, mostly because I do actually work today for like 3 hours because my district manager's coming in. I'm supposed to have today off, but whatever. So yeah, I just wanted to try this out and see who the hell in Europe is actually the dominant singular force. So Albania's already dead. Yugoslavia just fucked them right over. The Greece immediately went to war with Bulgaria, which makes a lot of sense because Romania's at war with them, so why wouldn't you pick on the weak bitch? France is going for the Benelux right away, which makes a lot of sense. Of course, the Germans are headed up towards Scandinavia right away. Again, makes total sense. Italy and Switzerland declared war on Yugoslavia. I don't think that's going to go too well. Although the Hungarians are at war with the Czechs and not doing super well. And the Yugoslavians, I think, just declared war on the Greeks? No, never mind. Czechoslovakia declared war on the Yugoslavs. Czechoslovakia, you fat fuck. The Soviet Union's going after, of course. Oh, shit. Poland, Lithuania has formed. The Polish are not happy about the Soviets going after Estonia, and they are definitely fighting to take it first. I think they're definitely going to get... The Soviet Union's going to war against Finland. So the Soviets aren't really taking a whole lot of land. They pretty much lost out for most things in the Baltic region. So now they're going after Finland, which is at war with the Norwegians and the Swedes, I think, as well. The Swedes were doing okay against Norway, and then the Germans came in, and now the Germans are against the Norwegians now. France is going after the Iberian Peninsula now, so that's probably a smart move for them. Lots of factories. It's on the back end for a war with Germany later on, possibly. That'd be an interesting one. The Swiss are going after the Czechs, who are also at war with the Poles. The Czechs were doing really well, so I'm kind of sad to see them getting their ass kicked now. The Greeks are getting invaded by the Romanians very slowly, as well as the Turks, but the Romanians cut the Turks off in Thrace, so that means the Turks are going to get basically nothing out of this. I want to know who the hell France is. Okay, so France is going to go to war against the Swiss, but who do you go to war with after the Swiss? Do you go after Poland if you get a border with them, or do you go after Italy, or do you go after stronger Germany? Oh, the Soviets are at war with the Turks. That's probably not a good idea. The Americans, they killed Mexico and are now at war with the Canadians, who are stronger than Mexico, so that's good to know. The UK took over Venezuela. They landed troops, took over Venezuela, then fucked off. They just left. They just fucking left. Love it. France looks like the colonial empire. The northern stripe of Africa is mostly under their control. They did go to war with the Italians, so that's okay. I kind of thought that would happen. I don't think they're going to have too much of a problem. I think the French are going to be able to easily take them out. There's some trapped German tanks in Italian land, though. I don't know how well that tank's going to work out, but hey, whatever. The French right now have a sizable army of 66 divisions. The Germans, another powerhouse, at 32 divisions total. The Poland-Lithuania Commonwealth, sitting at 40 total divisions. The Romanians, still doing actually quite well. They're still alive at 31 divisions. The Soviets, probably the powerhouse to beat, 138. But they could be really shitty divisions. Plus, if he's dumb and he's going to purge. So that's going to really, really hurt him. That's going to really hurt him. Even the Turks could possibly turn the war around if with the Great Purge. He's going to lose all of his good generals until Zhukov and stuff come along and like train up better. They're not even invading the Turks as fast as I thought they would invade the Turks either. I figured the Turks would have completely crumbled by now, but apparently not. I assume they're going to go after Romania next because Poland is stronger. I just want to see Germany wiped out. I think that would be interesting. Watch France wipe them out. They could go after them next because I think Poland actually had more divisions. Kingdom of Romania is at war with the Turks, so they're going to take Istanbul, basically capitulate Turkey. Baghdad's going to fall here very shortly. Yeah, they're pretty much done. Basically done. The Italian war here, that's probably pretty much... Oh, no, the Italians actually, they're hanging on. Lots of fatalities there, too, actually. I'm quite surprised. But, yeah, the French are fighting pretty heavy on the southern boot here. What's left of the Italian army is definitely putting up quite a bit of a fight. This French division really needs to go and take Benghazi here. Oh, they declared war on the UK. So they're going to... What does the UK have for divisions? Could they fight them? No. Okay. Churchill, buddy, you gotta fucking... You need to... Oh, Jesus Christ. They're at war with the Canadians, so that's probably where they're... Yeah. Canada was just annexed. The United States probably going to declare war on Britain. Yeah, that's what I kind of figured. They are bordered with them. Encourage the colonial elite. Yes. All of your colonies. Venezuela, parts of the Caribbean, and not really that there anymore. To be fair, the UK could survive in like 3 or 4 colonies that are like super separated from everything. I was going to see if Australia still existed or something as a colony, but it does not. Romania is at war with the Commonwealth. That actually could be a longer war. Yes, Poland has a lot more divisions, but the Romanians were close in division count. I think, honestly, the Romanians should pull out of Greece entirely, let them lose Greece, and defend the homeland and try to push back that way. And hope for like a Soviet war or something. I think that would be probably pretty good. The French are at war with the British, who they can't really fucking get at. So I don't really know what they're trying to do here. But fine. I think their next move should be declaring war on the Germans, personally. While the Germans are still weaker. They have 35 divisions. France has, I think, double that. Oh, 39. What happened, France? You had like 60 divisions. What the fuck happened? What the hell? The Soviet Union declared war on Romania. Okay, well, there we go. The Brits are landing in France. They've landed... Where is this? In Le Havre here? Just south of Calais, Pas-de-Calais. A successful landing for now. I don't think it'll last because they've left the port undefended. A Frenchman can just walk in there. Oh shit, the Germans declared war on the French. Which I guess makes sense, because they're not looking too hot right now. 37 divisions. Where the fuck did those 3 divisions go? So I'm guessing the Germans now strong at 35, but they have a lot more tanks. So that's probably going to be the deciding factor there. If Poland declared war on the Germans, I think you'd have a problem. But I don't think the Polish are... good enough. They have 41 divisions. If they can quickly beat Romania and the Soviets keep their fucking nose out of it, or if the Soviets declare war on the Germans, that could happen. Once the Romanians fall, that could happen. Who's Poland going to go against? That's the question. On France. And so do the Soviets, for fuck's sakes. Everybody's going to war against the French. Fuck. Come on, guys. Is this really pick on France day today? The thing is Britain could actually get some land out of this, too. Like, they've done a couple of, like, big landings. I don't think they're going to lose this landing, either. Even the United States declared war on the fucking French. Jesus Christ. Not that it matters anymore. The UK is at war with the Germans, of course, though, so that beachhead now is going to be a German invasion. They also have Brest and the end of Brittany here, but I don't think that's going to last. The Poland-Lithuania Commonwealth is at war with the Germans. That's probably going to go... I'm going to guess German victory here, personally. I think the Soviets are going to get involved. Whoever the Soviets declare war against, the other side is going to be the winner. I think that's how that's going to play out. The Soviets haven't picked a side yet. They're just at war with the United Kingdom, and that's all they're doing. Poland-Lithuania doesn't have the same amount of factories that the Germans have. However, the Germans are fighting A, two fronts right now, and B, they did start off with less divisions. So if the Poles could invade quickly into, southern France and Italy, then they might have a chance. But I don't know. They seem to be doing okay on the front right now, but I don't know how long that'll actually last. Especially if the Brits get kicked off the continent, then all of Germany's troops are going to be dedicated to that front. And that's going to be the kicker there. So, and again, the Soviets, if they join in any of these two wars, if they see the Germans are losing, they might join in on the Poles side. Vice versa could happen as well. I really don't think the Soviets are going to get a successful landing in Britain, simply because the British Navy is huge. And the Soviets is pretty shit. So, yeah. Oh, the Brits landed in Portugal. They landed in Porto. They landed a few troops in Porto. Wait, where did they go? Where did they all go? Oh, they're still there. Okay. I was like, did they leave? No, okay. They just stalled for a second, waiting for reinforcements, I guess. So now Germany is fighting Britain in Iberia, fighting them in France, in multiple points in France, and Brits have quite a big landing in France now, too. They just joined up their 2 landing spots as well. Yeah, the Germans aren't looking too healthy right now. The Soviets could probably join in at any point and take Scandinavia from everybody. That's what I'm waiting for. Come on. You can do it. Again, I just find it funny that they're trying to naval invade Britain. It's just not going to work out in their favor. The British are masters of defending, Britain. So, and their navy means they can just naval invade pretty much as they want. Yeah, they've consolidated basically all of northern France here now. They own Paris. They just took Cherbourg. They own Brest. They own Antwerp. Oh, never mind. They're fighting for Antwerp and Brussels. Not going as well as they wanted to. Amsterdam is now the capital of fascist Germany. Hitler, buddy. Oh, you should have just died in Berlin against the Poles. Poland is getting its revenge here, though. That's what's happening. If anything, the Soviets are probably going to win this whole thing, but the Poles at least are getting their revenge against fascist Germany. They are not the ones to be taken over. It is fascist Germany who will die first. Long live Poland. The Brits are getting pushed back a little bit in the north here, but it doesn't matter. The Poles are on their way. And Iberia, oh my god. They don't care about France. So long as they can defend it, eventually they're just going to link up. Oh my god. Good lord. Plus, they've got a lot of, ability to surround units here. There's a Panzer Division in there. They continually surround it. It's losing supply now, so they could kill that Panzer Division very easily. A lot of divisions can get very easily surrounded in this scenario, so see what happens. Let's see a lot of surroundings here. I think that's how the Poles did it. I think that's how the Poles actually won this war, is just they've encircled so many German divisions. Oh, there goes the U.S. on the German Reich. So the Soviets, I'm surprised the Soviets have not joined in. I'm honestly shocked that they haven't joined in. I thought they would by now, Oh, I didn't realize the German Reich took all this too. The Poles have naval invaded, so it doesn't really matter. I don't think there's any even German divisions in Africa. No, there's not. Which there shouldn't be. Africa doesn't matter. Defend your Reich. Where did the German capital get moved to, anyway? Where did it go? I don't know where it is. Hello? Oh! Never mind. Germany died. Oh, the UK got a juicy amount of land there. Oh, the Poles just... Nope, never mind. Fuck. They didn't get anything. And the Poles just declared war on the Brits. And now all the British units in the mainland are just going to all of a sudden take a bunch of land. The Brits are pretty damn strong. I don't know if they have the division count to do this. 64. Poland, 91. Yeah, the Poles could have shitty divisions, though. That's the thing. They very much could. The Soviets declared war on the Polish. Okay, never mind. I was like, what are the Soviets fucking doing? They're not doing anything. And they just declared war on the Poles. Okay. Fine. If Poland was not at war with the United Kingdom, this could be a very long war, because the Poles had 91 divisions. 132 for Mr. Stalin here, but he's still going to be suffering a little bit, I think, from the purge. Yeah, he's going to be suffering quite a bit from the purge still. So, yeah. The Poles could have possibly fought back and won if it was just the Soviets they were fighting against, but Britain is a formidable asshole of a foe. Like, if they're just... Oh, hey, Neville, what's up? They're just dickheads, honestly. They're just fucking dickheads. But, you know, they've got, like, austerity, wartime industry going on. George is there, colonial elite shit. You know, all that kind of stuff. The only thing they don't, you know, is recruitable population factor because of the Great War. Other than that, they're fine. Like, they don't have any setbacks. I don't think Poland really does either, though. I don't think they're, like, super good. Oh, the strikes and stuff. Never mind. Yeah, strikes are pretty shit. Other than that, they're actually pretty decent. It's actually not bad. If it wasn't for the strikes, they'd be, like, the perfect nation. But yeah, the Soviets are pushing them back. They're taking the Baltics back. They've surrounded a lot of units in some ports here. It's at least they're in ports. They could get away. So that's better than the other alternative, I suppose. They're taking Scandinavia super quick because there's one unit defending Scandinavia, which is unfortunate. They're pushing through. They're almost have linked up. Once they take this port, they'll have linked up their Turkish divisions with their actual Soviet front divisions. The Poles are definitely not letting those ports go, though. Varna's just, like, changing hands all the time. I don't think the Soviets have many troops on that border. No, they don't. They're not pushing as fast as they could because, again, of the purge and the fact that Poland actually has a formidable army instead of just, like, 3 sticks. You know what I mean? Like, this army is not terrible. The British, though, have done some considerable damage. They have Bordeaux, they have Brest, they have Cherbourg. They're fighting a line towards Paris, though the Poles are doing okay on that front overall. The Soviets, however, slowly pushing. It's a slog. It's going to be a slog, and there's going to be a lot of casualties. 219,000 casualties just on the Soviet side from the Soviet Union. That's quite a few. The Soviets have 162,000 from both the British and the Lithuanian Canada. So about half, which is kind of crazy. Is that their total? No, 363. Okay, so 117,000 dead from the British front, 252,000, 55,000 from the Soviet front. Obviously, the Soviet front is costing them considerably more than the British front is, because they're now actually winning on the British front, which is good for them. If they can push the British out and keep them out, they could then take this army and then push it onto the Soviet front and possibly defend for a while. I mean, they're pushing on this front here. If they can take and hold Istanbul and just defend it from anybody coming in, which shouldn't be too hard if you stack a couple of units on there that are well equipped, and then take everybody else and just throw them on this front, have a defensive front in Copenhagen so they can't get through Denmark, and throw everything else on the front here. You could be okay. You might They might be able to pull this off. They're retaking certain things. They're doing well on pushes. It's possible. It's possible the Poles could pull off a victory here. It's unlikely, but it's possible. I think this is, either way, though, going to be a very long conflict. Of like a very long conflict. Because you got to keep in mind, even if Moscow falls, right, the Soviets are still going to be fighting heavily. You know, like it's not over just because Moscow falls. Plus, they still have to kick the Brits out. If they can't kick the Brits out, that's a big thorn in their side, right? To be fair, if they manage to win with the Brits still landing in France and the Soviets being the Soviets, that's pretty fucking impressive, bro. That's pretty damn impressive, honestly. Yeah, they got one cavalry unit there defending. Yeah, there you go. Put that guy there. Just have him defend. Just sit him in fucking Copenhagen. Don't fucking move. Same here. Kick this fucking guy out and just keep Istanbul. Don't let them push. The second you let them push into Southern Europe and the Balkans, you're fucked. Or you do that and you surround them in a port. That also works, I guess. I don't know. It looks like they're finally paying attention to Scandinavia. They've deployed some units to defend what they have left in Norway. And the Soviets aren't trying to attack Copenhagen yet. So that's good. The Brits made another landing in Bordeaux. They lost it, and they made another landing. And this one looks considerably more successful, which isn't good. The Poles could still beat them back. They did before. But we'll see. They're actually starting to take back some of the Baltics here, which is kind of nice to see. Whether they'll be able to keep that or it was just like a temporary gain, hard to say. The Soviets look like they're pushing again. They're not losing land like they just were. They're pushing there. You just saw that go. That upper area there near Tallinn is gone. They're pushing still. They're probably going to take Norway here. This is probably going to be a total loss for Poland. They should just kind of pull these troops out before they get surrounded and killed, and consolidate them in the defense of like Copenhagen, send them down to the Istanbul front or even to the main front or the British landings, anything like that. The British have almost lost Bordeaux again. They're getting pushed pretty hard there. La Rochelle is about to be lost. Yeah, there you go. They just took Bordeaux, so these guys have no port. These British divisions are fucked. They're dead. They just killed a shit ton of British divisions. Damn. That's harsh. Same here. They could take Brest first, kill this division off. Yeah. If they can focus on taking the ports first and killing the divisions, the Brits are going to have a harder time. That's for sure. Looks like Poland does not care about Africa, though, at all. There's one Soviet guy just kind of walking through. I don't think that's going to affect them, though. No, God, no. Especially as they continue to push into the Soviet Union. They're taking more valuable land than they're losing in Africa, that's for sure. So, it doesn't even matter. Oh, they've pushed the British back just to Brest, and it looks like the Brits are going to lose it, too. Oh, shit. That could be quite the game changer. Yep, they just lost Brest. They're still being pushed in the Le Havre region. So that's pretty intense. Like, pretty damn intense. On the Soviet front, they've kind of circled up around north of Minsk. They've taken pretty much all the Baltic region back. The only region they don't have is this port here in this area that this little fella's fighting in. So they're actually almost taking all the Baltics back. Almost. And then they're fighting on this front here. They've kept Istanbul, they've kept it in check, which is good enough. You know, it'd be better if they took it, but they've kept it in check, which is a positive. The Brits, they're being pushed back again. They made a landing, it looks like in Dunkirk, with 4 divisions. I think that's handled. The Poles are actually doing this, and I'm shocked. Again, it could still 100% turn around. this is kind of insane to watch. Like, the big thing that could help Stalin again is if the purge stops. 1940. So he's got another about a year. If he can hold out for another year, he could turn the tide, because then that's going to be gone, right? So it's possible he could still pull this off. But the polls are looking really, really good right now. I think if he can't hold west of the Urals by the time purge is done, I think Stalin's pretty much done at that point. Yeah, I don't think he'll be able to come back after that, because he'll have lost so much of his army by that point. The Poles' manpower too is astoundingly high. The Soviets, not as much. They probably can still do. Yeah, they're only on volunteer only. So the Poles are on also volunteer only, which is quite insane. So they have a lot to pull from. What is the Polish army at now? 280 divisions. Oh my god. And the Soviets at 102. So the Soviets have actually lost about 30 divisions so far. So the Poles are looking really good, at least in a division count-wise. 285. They've got 228 military factories. They've got 485 factories total. 165 for the Soviets. So the Soviets have lost a huge amount of their industrial base in Ukraine now. And they're way behind because the Polish own Europe. So yeah, that's not good. The Polish also, they are down in infantry equipment and support equipment, but not like desperately so. Like, some of their units don't have guns, but a vast majority are still fairly well equipped, which is good. The Soviets, they're starting to hurt. 15k in the hole is quite a few guns to be in the hole when you only have about 100 divisions. So it's starting to look pretty shit for them. How are the Brits doing, actually? They're probably fine. Yeah, they're fine. Down in artillery a little bit and some aircraft from fighting, but nothing they can't recover from very easily. Jeez, I didn't even realize what happened up in Norway and Scandinavia. The Poles are like flooding into Finland right now, fighting like sparse amounts of Soviet troops, but there's no grand defense, so like Helsinki will fall without a fired shot. You know what I mean? Like, that's insane. Wow. That's crazy. And then they're going to link up those fronts. So then they're going to have a nice unified front. They took Istanbul. They're fighting for the Asian side of Istanbul. The less important side of Istanbul, the less populated side of the city. But into, the actual Turkish mainland. If they can actually take that, which it looks like they might, it's a possibility here. That Soviet division's not healthy. They just need to walk into it. They did it. They've started to invade the Turkish mainland, so they're moving there. The main Polish front is moving into the Caucasus a little bit. There's not a lot of defense in the Caucasus because the Soviets don't have the military. They don't have the numbers to defend it. Turkey's basically gone. Finland is basically gone. I don't think Helsinki's fallen yet, though. No, it just did. It just fell. So Helsinki's fallen. Got a lot of divisions just flooding through that area. Look at all them all coming out, too. Invading. There's some divisions now trapped. Once this port falls, these divisions, anybody in here is pretty much dead. There's nothing there. They're very close to Moscow now, too. Very close to Moscow. The Soviets are about halfway to surrendering right now, but that will quickly change. The loss of Moscow will be huge. They're losing a chunk of their colonied stuff now, so Turkey and whatnot. The Brits made another invasion. Looks like it just not Dunkirk, but Ghent, with a lot of divisions too. But it looks like the Poles have it contained for the most part. At the very least, they have it contained for now. That's all they need. So long as they can beat the Soviets, they can easily recontain anything the British are going to do. The British don't have the troop numbers to, like, successfully like take the Poles over, so long as the Soviets don't smarten up. I think they just lost Moscow too. Or they're about to. They're about to lose Moscow. The Soviets have officially lost Moscow. Their new capital, St. Petersburg, which they will be losing. Oh, they lost. They lost Leningrad already. So they've lost 2 capitals in like 5 seconds. Are they at Vladivostok now? Yeah, Vladivostok. So now it basically comes down to when do they hit 100%? You know what I mean? That's basically what it is. They'll get there, I think, pretty quickly. I don't think the Poles will get too far past the Urals before they give up. There's a lot of victory points in the Levant region and the Caucasus that still have to fall, like Baku here. Baghdad, of course. You've got Cairo. You've got Jerusalem and Tel Aviv. You've got Damascus and Beirut. So a lot of victory points down in here for them still to lose. So yeah, that's pretty brutal. And look how many divisions they have. Oh my God, Stalin! What the fuck? 23 divisions. The Poles are up to 453. So the Poles are basically just turboing out divisions. They're probably trash. No, they're not bad actually. They're not the best units, but they're not super terrible or anything. So these are what they're spamming. And they've got some other stuff, cavalry templates and whatnot. That's fine. But the main ones they're spamming out are not terrible infantry units. If they went against a formidable tank army, they'd be screwed. But oh, and that's it. That's it. Poland, Lithuania wins. I'm not counting the invasion of Britain because that will literally never happen, and Britain will never take the Poles. So we'll just let Britain survive. Poland, Lithuania wins. Unexpected winner from the back end. The Pepto-Bismol alliance wins the Battle Royale for Europe. So in a battle for Europe, somehow Poland wins. Wow. Well, thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.